Welcome to TLC for the Soul podcast, where soul meets spirit. You have entered into sacred space. I'm your host, Tammy Lynn Chambers, and I'm here to help you shine. Now let's get going on this podcast journey. Hello, friends. Hello, and welcome to the podcast. Welcome back. If you're new, welcome to our first storytelling for May. If you're a returning listener, welcome back, friends. We're outside for our storytelling. As always, choose how you want to listen to this. There are, as always, a lot of metaphors and meanings coming out in these stories. So you can just choose to listen to them as fun stories. Just for being something entertaining. This is a continuation of all the Bringers of the Light series. We started back in October of last year. Those stories are getting a lot of play on the podcast. A lot of play. The more platforms we're on and the more people are discovering us, there's a lot happening at TLC for the soul. If you'd like, you can choose to take your listening experience a step higher, an octave higher, whatever, and join me around the sacred storytelling circle as I wrap us all in love light and light love, inviting in the spirit guides, totems, wisdom keepers, bringers of the light, Abigail, Dakkar, our new friend Pinky von Pinkerton from Bringers of the Light Oakwood, to join us all around this sacred space. You can also choose to take your listening experience an octave higher. Invite in your own guides, angels, dragons, unicorns, goddesses, whoever you work with, to join you here, excuse me, as we weave this May story. And the reason we do this, if you're not clear, why are they inviting in all these spirit guides for a story? Well, this story has been a journey and is leading us on a journey of starting at the beginning of the tarot. We started way back with Pumpkin Pie Latte, and that's everything up until Timbre and Jameson is in ebook format now. So if you don't feel like going back and listening, all the ebooks are available to read for free. So you can go to Smashwords, which is my publisher, at the link in my show notes. And they're all listed there with all the series and everything kind of all grouped together, so you can see all the different book series that are out there, because Bringers of the Light is just one of about, I don't even know anymore, 4 or 5 different ones, a series of books I have. Not everything is on paper book right now. Paper book. Not everything is on paperback right now, so the ebooks are probably the most current, and some stuff I haven't wanted to put on paperback yet. And I will be pulling in some inventory and doing signed copies for folks at some point. I'm just not ready to do that yet. I'm thinking that I'm going to run the Bringers of the Light series for an entire year and then group them all into one big paperback. So come October, my favorite month of this year, we'll come out with a Bringers of the Light physical book, because a lot of these are shorter stories. Just sitting here for a moment. My train of thought. Oh, playlists, just quickly. Spotify have made a playlist for all of the series of the podcast on Spotify now. So if you don't like scrolling back and forth, because there's quite a few episodes now, this is season 3 of the podcast. We're almost to episode 50. And then, prior to that, I wasn't doing as much, so there's not as many. But if you don't want to scroll, whatever. Everybody likes to do things differently. But if you'd rather see those in playlist format, then I've got the playlist over on Spotify. So the podcast looks really great on Spotify. It looks really nice on your device. I think it really brings out there's a deer running right towards me. Hey, baby. Oh, she's coming so fast. I don't even think she sees me. There she goes. She's maybe about 30 feet away. Oh, they get scared. This is really a hard space for them to be in. They go to the little fairy woods, but they come from all over, and there's a really busy street in between where they run around and play, and they have to cross that busy street, and they come running really fast and kind of frantic, and then they go into their little safe space. So anyway, podcasts playlists are on Spotify. So this isn't just a storytelling. If you listen to these episodes sequentially, then it's almost like a little kind of, hey, how's your day going? Here's what's happening in my day kind of a thing too. Since we're a little podcast family, a lot of people do listen to these when they drop, and I think it's just fun to kind of hear how everybody's doing. So I will just share before I get into the story, and if you don't want to hear that and you're just here for storytelling, then just fast forward about 4 or 5 minutes and you'll get to the beginning of the actual story itself. And there are, if you're here for messages and metaphors and what this means to you on your own special journey, I will be pointing those out as I read. But yesterday, I'm just going back to our May energy forecast, which was all about tornadoes and tornadic energy. And it was very interesting because we had lots happening yesterday on the podcast. So it wasn't even on the podcast, it was just in general. So yesterday was May the 1st, and a police car just drove right by me. It was so strange. So I think I know Archangel Michael is with us very strongly this month. And so there's a lot of protection energy going on at the same time that there's like this kind of freedom stuff happening. Because I just saw somebody go by like in a really cool convertible car. The metaphors are already coming out. So they want me to just do a quick energy update, okay, for May, because we said there was going to be this tornadoes energy, and I've heard other way showers referencing tornadoes. It was really strange. I don't listen to her a lot, but Karen Kay, who's works a lot with the fairies, was in my Instagram feed yesterday pulling cards, and she's like, I just had a small tornado come after me, and I was like, whoa, tornadoes, that's really strange that she's saying that. I don't know what she meant. She didn't really expand. It was kind of strange. But yesterday came in, and you can tell, my mind, even, that's the other thing, Mercury Retrograde, okay? We're in the pre-shadow or shadow, I don't know which one at the moment, because I, again, don't have a calendar in front of me, but my verbal communication is really, mixed up and weird. I can sense it between communication between people. It's kind of off a little bit, you say one thing, and the person kind of understands it as something differently, and it's not heavy and deep. I guess it could be maybe that's what you're supposed to protect yourself from. Don't let the communication go to the depths of and levels of turning into arguments and stuff. But I could already sense that big time. And when I wake up in the mornings, my thoughts are really jumbled, and I have to really do a lot of grounding work to get my brain in a good space. There's a lot happening right now. So it may just be a challenge to work with the energies, and we are going to do a couple of things this month to help with that. We're we're going to do a dream lab again. I tried to do a dream lab once before, and I wasn't very, I didn't really follow through very well on it. We got a couple of episodes in. It's not on the podcast. It's only over on YouTube. But I think a bonus workshop this month we're going to do is a dream lab, because a lot is happening in our dreams. A lot is happening there. And for me personally, I think I mentioned this the other day, like I'm not very good about remembering my dreams. Oh, little pretty butterflies are all around. It is getting way too hot where I'm sitting. I'm not really good at remembering my dreams. And I was really good at one point. Like I had some guides helping me, and I would get up every morning and I would write them down. And I was getting to a space where that was getting in like a good habit, and I was starting to remember more and more. But I fell out of that. And even now when I go to bed and I say I'm going to remember my dreams in the morning, I wake up and I'm getting, oh, this butterfly just flew right in front of my face. I'm getting bombarded with like collective energy. I don't know what it is. I think it's divine masculine energy. I think I'm feeling a lot of the divine masculine energy right now. So when I wake up, I'm hearing a lot of things that then take me away from remembering my dreams. So we're going to work with some guides this month in a bonus workshop on getting, working with our dreams. And that's what I'm supposed to put out there. Whew, thank you. My guides weren't here right now. My brain would be totally mush. If anybody is really good at working with your dreams and wants to participate in the dream workshop with me, what we'll probably do is have you just record an audio to go along with whatever we're doing in the workshop. We'll record an audio for me of how you work with your dreams or whatever. Like we could work that out of what I think would be beneficial and collab on that a little bit. But if anybody's interested in participating in that workshop, and that's somebody who's really good with their dreams. So you're good at remembering them, and you're good at, they call it lucid dreaming, but I don't really know if this is lucid dreaming, but you're in a dream and you can kind of control what you're doing in the dream. Like you're aware that you're dreaming, and you're consciously in the dream driving what's happening. And I mentioned this before. It was like, what's his name? Oh, come on. I've got Grant Gosh on the mind for some reason. Why do I have this guy on the mind? Grant Gosh. Okay, they're taking me to Grant Gosh. Nicholas Ashbaugh was talking about dreams. Okay. So I just want to leave it at that, because he is able to go into his dreams, meet guides, have conversations with them, do readings and stuff, photographic memory, remember the readings, bring them back out, and recreate them for us, the collective. That is somebody who's like almost an expert, a master at dreams. So if you're anywhere like even halfway close to that, we could use some tips and pointers, and I'd like to collab with you on the May workshop for dreaming. Grant Gosh, I don't know why they're telling me about him. They're wanting me to talk about him. Okay, he's an Instagrammer. That's all I really know about him. He lives on the Oregon coast, which is one of my favorite places. Anywhere along the Pacific coastline, west coast of the USA is like one of my favorite spaces. If you're on the beach there, oh my gosh, another motorcycle with like a ginormous flag. Something's coming. Oh, it's bicycle people. This is crazy, you guys. I'm telling you, this is the tornadoes. There is like tons of bikers, like cyclists in a race or something. Oh my God, there's so many metaphors in this episode if we never get to the story. They've got a lead motorcycle and a tailing motorcycle with giant flags, and there was about 10 cyclists. That's like kind of overkill, but okay. Maybe they're afraid of like traffic. I don't know. Never seen that before. It was like a little parade. Oh, and there's like a pace car. It says police. This is so weird, you guys. This is like another one. This is like the weirdest Sunday ever so far. Grant Gosh. Let me go back to him. I think his name is spelled Gosch, and there's just something about, he looks like somebody I think I might know, like from another lifetime. It's not, he really, I don't even know, I can't say it. It's like he looks like what I think my twin might look like in real life in this lifetime, but that's all I really know about that. And he's like the same like stature that, it's not my twin, but he's like the same stature that I would imagine, or I would like see in my mind's eye my twin to be. He plays the guitar, he sings. I'm like, oh my God, it's almost like a duplicate, a doppelganger of my twin. Like I told you, I've never met my twin in this lifetime. More cyclists are going by. But when I look at this Grant Gosh guy, it seems to me like he would be very close to what I would see in my mind's eye of what my divine masculine looks like. Oh my gosh, more cyclists with flags. This is so crazy. They've got like police escorts and stuff. Constable with like lights flashing. This is totally insane. This must be some sort of charity ride or something. It has to be. And that goes to Grant Gosh. So he was doing something really cool, and he has his Instagram, and on Saturday nights he goes live. I don't just like him because he reminds me in spirit of what I think my twin might look like, but he does these really fun storytelling. So he lives in this like really old cabin kind of shack thing that his grandmother built on the Oregon coast in some little tiny town. And the town is kind of like the Lake Wobegon from, you guys help me with that radio show. What was that radio show called? Anyway, he's trying to make it similar to that Lake Wobegon radio show. And so he broadcasts at night, and he has like, a glass of bourbon or whatever, and he sings songs, and he tells funny stories about like their post office, because they have like one of those towns where it's so small that the way everybody knows each other, and they like post little postcards outside the post office of things that each person might need, or current events, or selling stuff or whatever. So he brings those postcards and he like reads them, and it's like you get to know his little small town. And then he brings on people onto the live, like yesterday. It was so crazy. Why am I diatribing? Because I kind of want you to go check him out, because he's doing some fun. He was doing his live as a charity event for a local shelter in his area. And it was so creative. Like, he got all of these disgusting ingredients together. And then he brought on, I don't know this girl, but apparently she's... the Mad Prussian or something. I don't remember her name, but he brought her on. She's like a celebrity chef kind of a person, but I guess a friend of his, and he brought her on, and she was in her kitchen, and he told her all the ingredients that he had, and he asked her to create something with him with those ingredients, and it was like the most disgusting thing ever. So it was just really a fun time. So if that's just something, it was something totally different than what you see on Instagram nowadays. It wasn't just like all your typical people doing, some of the same stuff that even I fall into with the creativity. Like, let me just pull some cards. Let me just So I like to think my podcast is a little bit, kind of different like that. So if Grant sounds interesting, I would recommend following him. And then I'm going to try to be on his lives on Saturday nights, just there supporting the work that he's doing. All right. That's it. They said I've said enough. Whew, thank goodness. I'm going to have to put a timestamp on this, because if you don't care about any of that other stuff, that's 17 minutes in. Okay. So I've got to move out of the sun. It is way too hot for me now. So Pinky von Pinkerton is our episode this month. Let me just find a shady spot. I know my shady spot is right here. I'm not going to let this construction guy, he's not making that much noise. Oh, it's so hot. Okay, I can do it now. So Pinky von Pinkerton came to me a few weeks ago, and Oakwood, just a quick background so you all can get into where the story is at. Oakwood is the Muggle town that was part of the very first Kyanite Fairywing book, the Missing Shadow books. So that's a whole other book series I have. And then about a month or two ago, I started seeing Oakwood everywhere. And I'd never done a second Kyanite Fairywing book yet. I thought I wanted it to be about Oakwood, but I was like, it just doesn't feel like I know what to do with it. I started seeing Oakwood everywhere, and then Pinky von Pinkerton came in and said, I'm with the Bringers of the Light in Oakwood. And I was like, oh, there's this guy. Oh my God. I'm telling you, this month of May is already insane. Lord help me. He's like welding and sawing. Okay, so Pinky von Pinkerton came in, and that's where Claudius, our vamp, came in. And Claudius is our vampire from our November storytelling back in October of 2019, I think it was. And Claudius is going to be part of our After Dark series that I'm going to be doing here on the podcast as well. So now that you kind of know who everybody is, I wonder how loud that's really sounding. I'm going to go somewhere else. Okay, guys, let me talk to you while I walk away from Saw Guy here. So, this month we're going to have... No wonder I was only getting one chapter down of this book, because they're like, you're going to have other stuff to talk about. So if you like the podcast, you can just kind of hang with me here for a minute. Yeah, of course, now that I walk away, Saw Guy stopped sawing. So they did say, other way showers have been saying that the month of May is about building foundations. And I do feel like that too here. And you may feel that in your own life. Like, you kind of have a better, clear direction of where you're going, but you still got to put some work into like getting things going, which is how I feel with Sisters for the Sword and Divine Masculine SOS and some of the other books I'm working on. Okay, buddy, are you done now? All right, I'm over here. I should just film a walking series of me walking. Sarah Jane Tinsley is another YouTuber that I really like, and she took her YouTube peeps on a walk around an amazing national park. She's on the close to Brighton Beach on the English coast. She did an amazing Beltane walk yesterday. It was really nice. She does awesome ASMR Reiki videos. I think this is part, yeah, and I'm sitting down, and right as I sit here, I find a penny with a shield on it. You know, the shield side up. This is about protecting your energy. Okay. I think it's about working together, too. So, you know, and supporting each other. Like, TLC for the Soul is just not, you know, I'm not just here to promote myself. I'm not even here to necessarily promote myself. I'm just here to do the work. Bring in the guides, but I also love many other way showers, and I really love her work. And so I think it's just about helping promote each other. Grant, you know, I know is trying to get, I'm sure he wants more people to follow his work, because he seems like a pretty cool guy, the stuff that he's doing. And so I think we're just here to help each other out. Oh, now I have wind. Okay, let's just do this. Pinky von Pinkerton, Chapter 1, Oakwood Rules. Pinky picked up her pen and made a note in her unicorn notebook. She had a lot to do before the surprise party. Special guests were coming to Oakwood, and she had to get ready. It wasn't every day that bringers of the light from across the ocean would be coming to Oakwood, and she wanted to make sure that the old bookshop was clean, fresh, saged, and decorated for their arrival. The train that brought folks in from the old airport in the big town would be pulling into the station promptly at noon tomorrow, and she had a lot of work to do. She rang a small bell, and the door over the old bookshop opened on its own. Relics was open for business. Pinky nibbled at her frosted donut and drank a mug of hot chocolate as townspeople of Oakwood entered the shop to peruse the magical books, sacred tools, candles, and body care items she had so carefully procured for the shop. There was to be a coven meeting that night, but Pinky had decided to reschedule so that their friends arriving tomorrow could attend. At least she hoped they would. Pinky picked up the vintage rotary dial phone and spoke into the mouthpiece. "Please dial up my sister Meggy," she said, and the old play phone connected directly to Meggy's cell phone. "Meggy here," her sister said, answering on the first ring. "Meg," Pinky said, going down her list of items she would need for the arrival of the bringers of the light. "I need a spare bedroom made up in the cottage behind the cabin. Can you fit that into your day, please?" she said, hoping that the girl could do the decorations. Sure, sis, Meggy said, clutching her small handbag and using the other hand for her phone and coffee cup. I know exactly what they'll like, she said, taking a sip of the spicy drink she had made the morning before. She spat it out on the ground. Darn it, she said, somewhat haphazardly. Old coffee again, Pinky said, laughing at her soul sister. Yeah, I forgot to check the coffee pot again, Meggy said. I was distracted by that pirate. You know, that guy that likes to come into the shop sometimes? The one with the peg leg? Meggy said, seeing the old guy in her mind's eye. Oakwood was not a very magical town. It was more a place for wayward magical folk who had been displaced from their own towns or spaces by one thing or another. A kind of town of misfit magical people lived amongst the non-magical, which could sometimes cause clashes of character and dissonance. I also need a few sundries for our meeting tomorrow night, Pinky said, holding out her hand to admire her new gel nails. The shops had opened again, and her nail girl had done a great job of painting pink rainbows on her nails. Everything was coming into place for the magical couple's arrival tomorrow noon. Sure, what do you need? Meggy said, fanning her face with a small Japanese folding fan. She got hotter than most these days, with her needing to fan her face and place her feet into cold water. It was tough getting older, she thought, as she procured pen and paper from her bag to take down the list of items. Let's get mugwort from Miss Nancy's and a tart pie from Brookstone Bakery. You know which one. Strawberry Sunset, I think it's called. But Pinky's mental list was cut short by the other line on her cell ringing. Meggy, I've got to call you back, Pinky said, disconnecting her call with the older girl. Hello, Pinky said, answering her other line. Hi, Pinky, the voice on the other end of the line said in a very gentle and friendly voice. Yes, this is Pinky, the girl said, with a smile at the sound of her old friend's voice. Ha, I got you, Kyanite, Fairywing said, laughing at the sound of her friend on the other side of the phone. Chapter 2, A New Direction. Abigail listened intently as Dakkar and Highcore, the spirits of Brighty Isle, and Source laid out the plan for the coming months. The summer was to be spent elsewhere, away from Rockaway Pointe. There was a small town in the United States that needed the light more than ever now. Darkness had moved into town, and the bringers of the Light Oakwood division had asked for help. It was something of a specialty that the Coven, Abigail, and Dakkar could definitely work on. They would leave tonight and be in Oakwood in the morning. The twister of emotions, twister again, swept through Abigail. She hadn't planned on this. She had work to do at Crust. The summer baking challenge was coming up, and what about the solstice? They always spent that on their special place. The Coven always met at the Grove Landing, and the bringers of the Light Rockaway Pointe always celebrated at the Monolith in Lancashire. But now a strange land, strange town, and new acquaintances beckoned, and most of all needed the bringers. They had no choice. Highcore said this intel was coming from the upper council, so best get their bags packed and just accept the changes that were coming. Look on the bright side, Dakkar said, holding her hand. You'll still have the ocean, and me, he winked at her, and she calmed. She could do anything, and it would be easier with him there to support her. He helped her shine brighter. Highcore summoned the boat, which had been hidden off in a tall grove of trees. Junkontoi shyly handed Abigail her phone and told her to return any time. Their work together was only just beginning. The spirits of this little isle would hold sacred space for the work. Highcore disappeared, and Dakkar helped Abigail into the small boat with one oar. They took turns rowing as Abigail waved goodbye to Brighty Isle. Tomorrow they would be in foreign lands, and she had much work to do to prepare. Oh, my friends are leaving. They're going to Oakwood. So Oakwood is, if you've read Kyanite Fairywing, Oakwood and Chumasha were like on the west coast of the U.S. We never really said exactly where. It was supposed to be more of like an etheric space. So they're going to be going to like the west coast and hanging out. And who knows what they're going to be doing there. A lot of new characters and guides coming in, just like our lone wolf. Since these are channeled, I thought it interesting that Spirit worked in the twister analogy. or metaphor into this story. So definitely the stories support what's happening in the month that they're channeled and written in. So lots and lots of changes coming. Abigail's never been to the U.S. before. Dakkar makes it seem like it's just no big deal. So she's got some little fears to work on. Some stuff to take care of, and it sounds like the whole coven's going, and we haven't really talked about that, like Polly Willigers, and does that mean Tamber and Jameson are going? I don't really know what's happening there. Okay, it's getting super windy, so I'm gonna go ahead and cut this short. I'm trying to think of what I want to do next. I don't know if it's gonna be a pick a cord. I feel like I really need to do a Divine Masculine SOS. For many different reasons. So I think Divine Masculine SOS is going to be our next episode. Then we'll do our monthly pick a card, and then I'm going to start trying to put together what I want to do for the Dream Workshop. So again, if you're interested in collabing on that, prerequisite that you do actually have like a lot of experiences working in your dreams, stuff that you would be willing to share with others, and that you're not reticent or afraid to do some audio work for us on the podcast. It definitely doesn't have to be super high quality, because you hear my audio like sometimes a bit not high quality. Like, we're not trying to sound like we're in a studio space, we're like in the real world, right? So we just have to make the best with what we've got. But I would definitely be looking for anyone that's interested in that. You can email the show if you are, or you can direct message me on my TLC for this whole Instagram. All right, guys, I hope you have a beautiful rest of your day. If you're listening to this when it drops, or whenever you listen to this, because these stories are timeless. And we will see you all again soon in the next episode. Take care.
This episode has been brought to you by Relics Bookshop, Oakwood's premier location for magical books, sacred tools, candles, body care items, and more. Be you wizard, muggle, or witch, Relics has something for everyone. Thank you so much for listening.